Definitely have to get your mammograms. I was not a big advocate of them just because the medical community seemed to always change their mind as to how often to get them. It would be a year, it's 5 years. And I had both my parents had colon cancer. So I was really diligent about that kind of screening and never thought this would be my journey.
So cleansing, anything that happened before this interview, anything that happened after, just so that we stay present. And, we like to set the intention that if this,
yeah, sorry, we're very,
that's okay. I like it.
Maybe
we needed more clearing.
If this comeback story, if your story can help, at least one person out there, then that's the best thing.
Totally. We're about to get started with an interview with Gwen Lawrence. Okay, so Gwen, would love if you could give a little intro, tell us who you are, what you do.
So I'm a yoga teacher, as Amanda said, and I've been teaching for nearly 30 years. I started as a massage therapist, dancer, and it sort of morphed. I was training people, and one of my clients, who is an actress, I was training her on location for movies. And she said to me, if I send you to California to learn how to do yoga, will you be my yoga teacher too? So it kind of started like that. And my husband played pro sports, and I was always interested in sports and followed him around and learned his journey. And from there, I realized that I had a calling, I had a purpose, and that was, as you said, to teach yoga to athletes. And I've been doing that for about 25 years, and it's been estimated that I've taught nearly 3,000 professional athletes by now, 7 pro teams in New York State, plus high schools and colleges, and it's completely what I'm meant to do, what I love to do, and that's what I sort of helped you learn through your Power Yoga for Sports training. But that's where I am right now, quarantined and loving it, as we talk.
And she's very good at what she does. She just has like a ton of knowledge about every single sport, about the body, and everything. I mean, health, wellness, nutrition. So she definitely is good at what she does as well.
Thank you. Well, that comes with a lot of years. And self-proclaimed anatomy junkie, always trying to improve my anatomy knowledge. And I think that really gives you a depth as a teacher.
So, all right. So, obviously you've had like such a successful career. You're amazing at what you do. Bring us to your rock bottom. What was this point where you felt like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What happened?
Well, I suppose we're going to talk in terms of my cancer diagnosis. And, the rock bottom was really a fleeting millisecond of, oh my God. And it was basically, I'll probably never forget this moment. I had a biopsy and was waiting the 5 days for the biopsy results, which are completely agonizing and painful and emotionally. And in 3 days, I was actually pulling in to teach a high school baseball team. So I just pulled into the parking lot, put it in park, and my phone rang, and I had sort of an inkling that it was a doctor because it was a number I didn't know. And I picked it up before I went in, and he said, oh, we got your biopsy results. Now, it was the biopsy doctor, so it's not really your doctor. So it's basically a perfect stranger. He said, we got your results, and just need you to know that you have breast cancer and you're going to need to have surgery, and probably you're going to have radiation and be on medication for 5 to 10 years. Okay, so get a follow-up and find a doctor. Thanks. I could have easily have been driving too, and I wasn't. And I just remember just the earth falling out from underneath me, and I started to cry, tried to dial my husband. He didn't pick up. And then I realized I gotta go teach these baseball players. I'm like, I can't cancel now. I have to go teach them right now. And I just took a deep breath, walked in, And it was really just that one moment. And in my life, just with everything, I don't really wallow or dwell. I'm a list maker and I get it done. So it was just, putting it in gear and taking it one step at a time and seeing what happened.
Yeah.
And that's really it. I mean, really can't say I had this, spiraling down. I got pissed for sure. Because I figure, I think, Amanda, I live a pretty pure, clean life. I haven't had meat since I'm 10. I, work out hours every day. I mean, meditation, mindfulness, it's my life. And I thought the whole world is fucked if I got cancer because I'm doing everything right. And I'm probably going to start drinking, smoking, and staying out every night now because what I didn't really work.
Yeah. Did you think why me?
I did. And then, so like I said, immediately I try to flip that script. I think my mindfulness training did come in a little bit handy, but immediately because it just didn't make sense. And there's no history in my family, turns out. And I just said, okay, I just have to tell myself that I got this so that some 5-year-old didn't get it. And that I'm so cool with. So I had to just make that story up in my mind and completely believe it, that I can do this so that some little 5-year-old kid is spared. That's such a, good way to look at it and such a good way to kind of accept it when you're like, okay, I'm taking on this hard lesson because I'm strong enough to do it. And, I'm sparing someone else who wouldn't be able to handle it, wouldn't have the knowledge of how to heal themselves, how to get through this mentally, because it definitely is a mental challenge. Yeah, definitely. I feel like I went through the stages of grief, angry most of the time, but that was the only thing that I can do that it's kind of a random thought, but when that came to my head, I'm like, okay, I can hold on to this thought.
What was, obviously, you don't like to fear the worst. What was I guess the hardest part of getting that diagnosis? I know, you automatically went into gear, but what was the hardest step for you? Was it telling people? Was it, how am I,
Yeah, it's definitely twofold. The unknown for sure. And, is it going to spread? Am I going to need chemo? Am I going to lose my hair? And, all right, am I going to look cute if I shave my head? Should I get a tattoo on it if I shave my head? It's like
I could see you badass with a little bandana on or something.
I do that anyway, so I don't even think people would notice, right? But I'm definitely, aside from trying to stay out of that what if coma, was eye to eye with each of my sons and telling them and just watching their face drain with blood. And then within 0.2 seconds, I'm like, but I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Right. But I didn't know, I don't know. And to this day, it's super, super, super new. I haven't even absorbed everything that I need to absorb, so who knows? But right now I'm good.
Wow, thank God. What was the turning point for you where you were like, I'm not going to let the fear take control. I'm going to just man up, write my list, take action, get what needs to get done. Was there a specific point where you were like, okay, I got this?
Yeah, well, I have a little secret advantage. My best friend since I'm 3, so something you guys can relate to, right? My ride or die girl since I'm 3 just happens to be the nurse leader at Memorial Sloan Kettering Josie Roberts Surgery Center. So I immediately told her, and something people probably wouldn't know about me, and having trained with me, you might not know this about me, but when I'm out, when I'm teaching, I want to give as much knowledge as I can. I want to help people. I'm talking, I'm teaching, but when I come home, I kind of want to be told what to do. I don't want to think about it anymore. I want you to tell me what's for dinner. I want, you know what I mean? So I told her, and lucky blessing, she was like, okay, I know how you are, but you have no say in this. You are going to do exactly what I say. and this is what's going to happen next, and this is the doctor. So I didn't have to interview doctors. She got me in. She does the schedule for the best breast surgeon in Memorial Sloan Kettering that the president of the hospital even used for his own mom. And I mean, it was literally a whirlwind. I found out on December 1st. That was the day I was in the car. And December 18th, I was in surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I just sat back and she's like, this is what you're doing now. This is what you're doing now. And it just kind of happened. So I really feel for people that have to process such an intense thing and then have to get it together and make some of the most important decisions of your life. So I was lucky that way. I could just sit back.
Have like such a, like strong support team, even if you only have one person. And sometimes it's not, I mean, luckily, you're very close to your family and you have your husband, and it seems like your best friend was obviously like a huge support for you. But sometimes it could be for people who don't have like those close relationships. Sometimes you get support from people that you don't even, you wouldn't expect, you would least expect.
It's true. And one of the most interesting things about the whole time was a circle of friends that was this big, all of a sudden just tightened up, right? Yeah. Still my friend, but maybe you're on the outside of the circle now. And I really came face to face with the truth of my really near and dear friends. And that's this age of my life, it's actually easier now to know who are those few really tight friends and just, divide my time among them rather than, these meaningless kind of friendships, Yeah.
I think anytime you go through something like traumatic or any type of situation, it really puts into perspective like what's important, and especially in terms of like your time. And it's like, you can't feel bad saying no to certain things, and
100%.
You only get so much time in a day.
Yep.
So what was your main motivation, or your motivation in general, that you said, okay, I need to have this mindset. Like, I know that I need to elevate my mindset and think this way. But what was your motivating factor to do that?
Hands down, it was just to keep that brave face for my boys and my husband. I know he would see me at my worst. So I didn't really want them to be worried or scared, or, my son would send me flowers. I'm going to cry thinking about it. And he's like, you're killing this. You're awesome. And I'm just like, okay, I'm doing it right, because I don't want that burden on them. There's nothing they can do. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. So they were, hands down my main motivation.
What is something that, nobody tells you about when you're, going through beating cancer, recover, from the start to the point where you're at now? What's something that nobody tells you about this journey with breast cancer?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be naked in front of more people than you ever thought. And guess what, Angelina, you're not going to get any more followers for it.
I've done your mindfulness training, and I've learned through the course, there's so many different tips and techniques. What most resonated with you with elevating yourself when you woke up and started out having a bad day? How would you get yourself either to base or to an elevated mindset?
Yeah, I think the one thing that lately has been working the best for me is just having some sort of chant, positive chant. So I went through transcendental meditation training, so I have my own word, but sometimes it's better for me to just inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, let, exhale, go. And not to be, the lady that has all the quotes, but another quote on my refrigerator is let go or get dragged. And it's so true, right? If you're just constantly holding on to, every reason to be sad or every reason to, not work or whatever, it's just going to drag you down. And by the way, I never missed a day of work through the whole thing. I had surgery and everyone was on Christmas vacation. So I had that week and never missed a day, not even with my treatment.
That's awesome.
Wow. Sometimes I was pissed about it, but I just wanted to tuck myself in bed and be all cozy. But
Yeah.
I didn't.
I feel like personally, like, you know, anytime that I've been going through something, if I either take a yoga class or teach a yoga class or do something, it's not necessarily always going to work, but like teaching a yoga class,
Totally.
I'm not thinking about what's going on. I'm thinking about helping someone else. I'm thinking about what's going on because you're not on the phone. You're not, you know, attached to your email. You're not sitting dwelling. You keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of puts things in perspective, and there's always somebody that has a bigger problem than you know?
There's so many people who, you know, not only have gone through breast cancer, beat breast cancer, but also have loved ones. I mean, in our family alone, there's many women who've had it, you know, who've beat it. And, you know, this is definitely a great inspiration.
Super inspiring.
One of my clients, I mentioned to him, I said, yeah, I'm 2.5 years out. I haven't had one in a while. And he made me promise right then and there that I would get one. And I was like, and I really wanted to cancel it, but I made a promise, which I never break promises. And I went, I had actually felt something too. I was actually doing yoga. And Amanda, you know, frog pose. I was flat out on frog. You get really flat too. And I thought there was a pebble under my mat, and I kept moving it. And I was like, there's nothing here. And then I was obsessed. And I had already had the mammogram appointment on the books, and turned out that what I felt was benign and there was cancer behind it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, you really have to do your own self exams. Start young so you know every little nook and cranny, and then be really diligent. I mean, mammograms are annoying, but you know, you get it early, you could really avoid a lot of tragedy, pain, treatment, and not only for you, like we mentioned, for your family as well.
All right. Well, we loved having you. Loved hearing your story.
Yes.
I know it's definitely going to be helpful and inspirational to a lot of people out there. Any last minute words of wisdom for Team ELEVARI?
Just stay present, right? Just be today, even with this quarantine going on, you know, try not to think too far ahead, try not to dwell on the past, just be in today, be grateful for today. And every day when you get up, just one little thing. I mean, one little thing you're grateful for.
Thank you so much, Gwen.
Your beautiful face, and meet you too.
It was so great talking to you. Thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you.